It was a quiet evening at Maggie's Diner, a small roadside stop along Route 66. The jukebox played soft country music, while the smell of fresh coffee filled the air. Emily, a 24-year-old waitress with kind eyes and a gentle smile, was finishing her third shift that week. She loved her job despite the long hours. It helped her stay independent and away from her past. Around 10 p.m., 3 men walked in, loud and half-drunk, their boots echoing against the tiled floor. Locals knew them as troublemakers, but Emily greeted them politely, trying to stay professional. They started with jokes, then crude remarks, and when she turned away, one of them grabbed her wrist. She pulled back, but he laughed and yanked harder, ripping her shirt at the shoulder. The entire diner fell silent. Her eyes widened, shock and fear mixing in her chest, but she didn't cry out. The men laughed, thinking they were untouchable. Emily stepped back, shaking, her heart pounding. She didn't know that outside, parked under the glowing diner sign, stood a line of heavy motorcycles. The Hells Angels had just arrived, and among them was a man who'd do anything to protect her, her older brother. The bell above the diner door jingled, and the laughter of the drunk men stopped instantly. Jack Carter walked in, tall and broad-shouldered, his leather jacket marked with the Hells Angels emblem. Behind him, 6 bikers followed, each one silent but radiating danger. Jack's eyes scanned the room until they landed on Emily. Her torn shirt and trembling hands told him everything he needed to know. He stepped closer, his voice low but sharp. "Who did this?" The men at the corner tried to look calm, but the fear on their faces betrayed them. One muttered, "Just a joke, man." "No harm done?" Jack's expression didn't change. He placed his helmet on the counter and turned slowly toward them. "You touch her again," he said quietly, "and you'll find out what harm really feels like." The bikers spread around the table, forming a silent wall behind him. The biggest of the thugs stood up, puffing out his chest, but when Jack's cold blue eyes met his, he sat back down without a word. The air in the diner was thick with tension. Emily tried to speak, but Jack raised a hand gently. "It's all right, sis," he said. "No one's hurting you." The 3 men froze in their seats as the tension thickened like smoke. Jack's crew stood behind him, arms crossed, ready to move if needed. The leader of the group tried to grin, though his voice trembled. "We were just having fun. No need to make a scene." Jack stepped forward until he was inches away, his calm voice cutting through the silence. "You call tearing a woman's clothes fun? You picked the wrong diner tonight." Before the man could respond, Jack grabbed him by the collar and slammed him against the booth. Plates rattled and coffee splashed onto the floor. The other bikers didn't move. They didn't have to. The message was clear. Emily rushed forward, her voice trembling. "Jack, please stop." "It's not worth it." He looked at her, breathing heavily, then slowly let go of the man's shirt. "Apologize," he ordered. The man hesitated, then muttered a shaky, "Sorry." Jack leaned closer. Louder! The apology echoed through the diner. The other 2 mumbled the same, their arrogance completely gone. Jack turned to Emily. "You okay?" She nodded, tears brimming. Without another word, Jack motioned for his crew. "Let's go," he said, leaving the men pale and silent behind them. Gain. Jack Carter. The diner was quiet again, the tension fading as the sound of motorcycle engines roared in the distance. Emily sat at the counter, her hands still trembling as she tried to fix her torn shirt. Jack returned after checking on his crew outside, his knuckles slightly bruised, but his expression calm. He sat across from her, and for a moment they just looked at each other in silence. "You shouldn't have come," Emily said softly. "I had it handled." Jack smirked faintly. "You don't have to handle the world alone, kid. That's what family's for." She poured him a cup of coffee, her eyes glistening. "You always show up when I least expect it," Jack nodded. "And always will." Outside, the rest of the Hells Angels revved their bikes, waiting for their leader. The sheriff's cruiser pulled up, lights flashing faintly, but he didn't step out. He knew better than to interfere. He just tipped his hat through the window and drove off. Jack stood, gave Emily a reassuring pat on the shoulder, and walked out. As the engines faded into the desert night, Emily smiled through her tears. The diner felt safe again. Everyone now knew Maggie's diner was protected by the angels.